Hello, friends. Just wanted to take this video to offer some of my own personal reflections on Pope Francis in light of his recent death and the funeral liturgy that is tomorrow there in Rome. Again, Pope Francis has served as the 266th successor to St. Peter and as the Bishop of Rome these last 12 years. Again, Peter himself was chief of the apostles, and then the primacy of Peter in relationship to the other apostles, and then that succession, apostolic succession through the centuries. And it was that first Easter Vigil homily from the Gospel of Matthew where the angel instructs them, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, as he said. And then, come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead, and behold, he's going before you to Galilee." So the angel's instruction about he's going ahead to Galilee. And then when Jesus reveals himself, then Jesus said to them, "Don't be afraid. Go and tell my brethren to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." So just that whole question, Pope Francis reflects upon the significance of Galilee. Again, that distance from Jerusalem to Galilee, it's 50 miles. 50 miles by walking in that terrain is a very significant piece. Why was he insistent that they return to Galilee? And Pope Francis offers that invitation. Galilee is the place where they first called, where everything began. So it's that awakening of when I first heard the voice of the Lord. To return to Galilee means to reread everything on the basis of the cross and its victory fearlessly. Do not be afraid. To return to Galilee. And think of this, in those times in your own story when you're filled with fear or sorrow or sadness or shock or anxiety or worry, it's when Jesus says, to revive the memory of that moment when his eyes met mine, the moment when he made me realize that he loved me. So it's so important and helpful to ask that question about what is your Galilee, that place of beginning of first love. Well, just 2 years ago, he returned to this theme, and it's when you forget your first love, when you fail to remember that first encounter, that the dust began to settle on your heart. It's when you experience sorrow, and like the disciples, you saw the future as empty, like a tomb with a stone sealing off all hope. I've always appreciated this line from Pope Francis in a different homily. He said, "The goal of our existence is not death, but heaven. We can only enter the doors of heaven thanks to the blood of Christ." I've long appreciated that. There's something within the human nature that tends to think, how good is good enough? Is it going to be on a curve? Will I get in? Am I good? And Pope Francis awakens us to that the goal of our existence, it's not death, but it's heaven. Like, we've come from God, we belong to God, we're in relationship and friendship with God, and then we shall return to God. And we enter thanks to the blood of Christ. And as we grow in our appreciation for how Christ's blood has brought healing and saving not only to us but to all the world, we just keep calling upon the blood of the Lamb. Another invitation reflection that I grabbed, he says the Eucharist, it's not a prize for the perfect, but a powerful medicine and nourishment for the weak. Like, we grow in the healing presence of Christ that comes to us through the Eucharist. We just want to stay connected to them. And certainly something he returned to again and again and again, and we all need to be reminded of this. Brothers and sisters, let's try not to gossip. Gossip is a plague worse than COVID. Worse. Let's make a big effort. No gossiping. The devil is the biggest gossiper. That we can't be reminded of enough. The encouragement to say nothing, to be silent, to not participate in that ongoing work of gossip. Another one, perhaps you've heard often, is God never tires of forgiving us. We are the ones who tire of seeking His mercy. God never gives up on us. And then on his Wednesday audiences, for a period of time, he talked about the life of prayer. And I just share this one reflection. Christian prayer, like all Christian life, it's not a walk in the park. Prayer is not something easy. That's why we flee from it. Every time we want to pray, we are immediately reminded of many other activities which at that moment seem more important and more urgent. And then here's this humble line. This happens to me too. That prayer is a struggle. It's certainly not easy. And there are many distractions, and discouragement, and doubt that creep in. It's just a natural part. So be encouraged. Again, 1% of your day, 15 minutes. So I just appreciate not only his great humility, but his great witness and his teaching, and just continuously reminding for us of what it is. So with that, as he is laid to rest, eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. Amen.